It's here. And I'm pleased to announce that questions have been posed to me for the last 2 weeks about whether or not the CFT approved the budget or not, that yesterday I finally received a letter from the CFT in which Mr. Age Bakker wrote approving the St. Martin's budget for 2016. Mr. Bach, and I quote from the letter, "The CFT has taken note of the significant improvement to the draft budget of St. Martin for 2016, and we compliment the Minister of Finance with this achievement. A clear effort has been made to balance the budget and to comply with the instructions issued by the Kingdom Government. There are a few items that require keen attention and monitoring, but CFT has arrived at the conclusion that St. Martin's budget for 2016 complies with the norms described in Article 15 of the Kingdom Law on Financial Supervision. This conclusion also applies to St. Martin's multi-annual budgets." End of quote. With this, St. Martin now has access to $77.6 million for investment in capital expenditures, of which already approximately 35 million guilders are in the bank. The difference for investments can be borrowed. However, caution has been expressed by the CFT to St. Martin to limit its borrowing as much as possible, although it has the right to borrow up to that amount. St. Martin's capacity to be able to borrow and spend all this money for this year is not there. So I am not concerned that St. Martin will be borrowing all of this money. Quite the contrary. I also will take the advice from the CFT in this respect quite seriously and limit borrowings to as little as possible. The letter from CFT also notes that the 26 million guilders of loans from the former island territory of St. Martin, which was refinanced in 10-10-10 to the tune of 26 million guilders, that 26 million guilders in loans become due in October 2016. In this letter already, the CFT is giving its approval for us to refinance this 26 million guilders on a sinking bond basis. So that would also not be a problem or an obstacle as far as the budget is concerned. So from a budget point of view, things look pretty good for 2016, and so it does for 2017 and 2018, because the letter also mentions that the multi-annual budgets from St. Martin also meets the norms described in the law. All of this is extremely good news for St. Martin, and I believe with continued discipline, attention, and hard work, that St. Martin and its citizens can look forward with confidence to a brighter tomorrow. With these budget issues now behind us, we can direct our attention to other important areas. Recently, when the national ordinance to increase license plate, car license plate, came to Parliament, I withdrew it. With that increase in taxes for license plates, the attempt was being made, or the plan was, or the thinking was, that they can generate extra income to have the budget balance. I revoked or withdrew that legislation because I saw other areas that could be used to generate more income other than having license plates fees being increased. At that time, I also, upon a question asked, I think from a member of the press, the question, well, if you're going to balance the budget, are you going to increase taxes? And my response was, taxes are already too high. And I do not believe, and it's not my intention, to raise taxes in any form. That seems to have been forgotten by a lot of people. The fact that I believe that taxes should not be raised, quite the contrary, taxes should be reduced, does not tie my hands, feet, and mouth from talking about all possibilities that there are. Discussing all possibilities is a job that we have, especially the Department of Taxes, to analyze and weigh things. I mentioned during a press briefing, not too long ago, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, that I had a conversation with the director of the airport who had discussions to charge 4 cents a kilo on all goods coming in to St. Martin via people who are renting space at the airport. Now, as far as I know, the airport does not have planes on which it transports goods. It does not have boats. So why would it be charging 4 cents a kilo for goods that are being transported into St. Martin? I encouraged him during that discussion because one could interpret that what they were planning to do could be seen as import duties. And I made a comparison and says, let's assume that the only people who can tax are the tax department, the Ministry of Finance. If they were to think about charging import duties, that it would clash with what the airport was planning to do. So to avoid confusion in the public, I encourage him to seek another path, another way of collecting rent other than charging for goods coming into the airport. Our news media reported that the Minister of Finance is considering charging TOT taxes on goods coming into St. Martin. I said no such thing. It's against the philosophy that I stand for, not to increase taxes, but to lower taxes. I had said that we are discussing all possibilities, but that has not reached the point where we were considering. That has brought about quite some discussion in the public in terms of, oh my gosh, TOT taxes are going to be charged. It's going to be 6%. By the way, I got to admit, I misspoke that day while giving my example. I did say 6% TOT taxes, but everybody knows TOT tax is 5%. In that respect, I misspoke. But interpreting it as the Ministry of Finance is considering charging import duties or charging TOT taxes of 6% on goods coming in, I think that was a bridge too far. It's not the case, and it goes against the grain of what I believe.
I would like to address a couple points, but before starting, I would like to wish everyone a pleasant carnival season and kindly urge everyone to be very cautious and attentive with our environment in terms of disposing of trash and so forth. The first point I would like to address is the district cleaning. Recently, the public tender regarding the district cleaning was published in the newspaper. For a better management and control of the execution of the work, it was decided to separate the cleaning of the districts from the collection of the solid waste and to divide the territory of Country St. Martin into 13 districts. Some of the duties covered in this tender are the cleaning of public areas such as beaches, the public schoolyards, cemeteries, all public roads and roadsides, cutting of and collection of grass, overgrown trees, and so forth. One of the main objectives of this project is to target the small district-oriented entrepreneurs, in addition to the creation of jobs for the unemployed youths in the different districts. This should stimulate the economy in regards to jobs for the youth and the local entrepreneurs. This is a public bidding, and the precise outcome is not yet known, but we are confident that with the conditions set, it should be possible to achieve our objectives. Detailed information concerning the works to be carried out are described in the terms of reference. This can be obtained by the yellow building where the Ministry of Romy is located. Due to the large interest from different parties, the information meeting will be held in this hall, chaired by the Department Head of Infrastructure Management, and that will be held on the 25th of April. And on the 9th of May, 2016, at 10 a.m., the bids have to be submitted in a closed envelope, clearly marked District Cleaning Improvements 2016-2018. I would like to encourage all applicable entrepreneurs to take part in this public bidding process. The second point I would like to address is an update in the garbage collection, the solid waste. I think it was 2 weeks ago, I indicated that there were 3 parcels that was of concern. That was parcel 1, the Phillipsburg area, and parcel 5 and 6, the Cahill Little Bay cul-de-sac basin. Parcel 1, the Phillipsburg area, the concern was mainly the commercial area, Front Street and Back Street. In essence, the issue is related to the collection and disposal of commercial waste, which is not part of the recently established contracts for the collection of garbage. It is the sole responsibility of the businesses. A meeting was held with the Indian Merchants Association. It was a fruitful meeting, and during the meeting, it was basically indicated there was some misunderstanding in terms of when the new contracts was implemented. Information was given, and that information was disseminated to the members of the association. Moving forward, in the last couple of weeks, there is no complaints as it pertains to the Phillipsburg area, but the remaining parcels, parcel 5 and 6, remains concerns and have my attention. The course of action that was taken, the ministry sat with the contractor and had some in-depth discussions. It is the intention moving forward. The contractor indicated that a new operational manager has been hired. Indications was given to the contractor on the time and the scheduling for those districts. We have set a week time frame, and it will be monitored moving forward within that week if any progress was made. After a week, an evaluation will be done, and if no improvements have been made, there are some far-going measures that can be taken. One of them I have already indicated, that there is a third-party contractor on standby, and if it's not too satisfactory, that person will be called in to take measures on, and that will be on the account of the contractor. I will receive within this week the precise time, dates for each district, when the garbage will be collected, and that will be published to the public with telephone numbers, that any issues arise in the different districts, that the public can contact the responsible contractor and voice their concerns. The third issue, the fires on the landfill. Before I get into more detail, one has to realize that there has always been fires on the landfill, and if we do not change the course of action, there will always be fires on the landfill. The fire that started on the landfill started Thursday, Friday, if I recall correctly. I was updated. It was, and I indicated to the responsible parties, the contractor and the department head of infrastructure management, to keep me updated. By Friday afternoon, the situation seemed to escalate. The fire department was contacted. They went to the location, and the fire department could not access the fire because there is no road leading to the specific location where the fire was. In addition to this, the high probability also of damage to the firefighting vehicles and trying to reach as close as possible to said location. In the past, also the fire department would assist if the access was available for the trucks. I had indicated Monday, we had an emergency meeting, and I indicated that all resources would be made available to contain the fire. Since yesterday, the contractor has been hauling some 1,000 cubes of dirt to use for coverage of the landfill to curb the burning. 3 ledges has been cut on the landfill bund walls to ensure that we can have proper coverage with dirt done. 3 additional machines have been brought in to solely combat the fire while the regular operations of the landfill continues. Work will continue and has continued through the night, and it's the expectation that later today the smoke and everything will subside. I got a phone call late last night that the fire has been contained. This morning I saw just a little bit of smoke still, but they are still working diligently to improve the situation. We know what needs to be done in terms of the landfill. This course of action cannot continue. As was indicated time and time before, the landfill has reached its maximum capacity. There are different competing interests in moving forward in terms of the waste to energy. There was discussions where there was a sort of a stalemate as it concerns the power purchase agreement, but this government has made a decision that we will take control of the situation and make a decision this week on the way moving forward. The ministry will be placing 3 to 4 fire hydrants that will function also as firefighting mechanism for the future. With this, the fire trucks do not have to find their way to the landfill with all due consequences. This project will start in the very near future. The last point I would like to address is the repairs to Front Street and Back Street. At current, temporary repairs of Front Street is being conducted by the contractor Windward Roads. This is to ensure a smooth flow of the upcoming Carnival parades. Directly after the Carnival, the same contractor will continue with the structural repairs of both Front Street and Back Street. The phase 1 that was just completed was from the Great Bay Hotel towards the courthouse. And the next phase, which is due to start, will be the repair from the courthouse to the Emma Plain. This project was initiated in conjunction with TIAT, the harbor, and is being coordinated by the Ministry of Romy. The temporary repairs of Front Street will be completed on April 29th, and the structural repairs are scheduled to be completed before the season, and further communication towards residents and businesses regarding this project will follow in the coming weeks. I'd like to thank you very much.
To add to my colleague minister, I would like to congratulate all on so far a very respectable and quiet start of the carnival season. I would like to remind all those parents, though, that we're still in the week of school. And as education minister as well as culture minister, while I do applaud all cultural aspects of the carnival celebrations, especially that I would remind you that your children's education is first and foremost, and that you do all to make sure that they achieve their goals in that respect, even if it resorts to them defaulting on one or two of the celebrations. This is a time when also exams are in full swing. The FBE exit exams ended last week. Any students who, for legitimate reasons, missed the exams would have, I believe it's yesterday and today, to resit those exams. I haven't had any reports as yet as to if that was the case. I will be getting that report later. However, the report that I got at the end of last week, that was that it had been executed according to plan, and that the division exams were on par, even working through the weekend to make sure that all would be well. We've recently also signed on to be able to reduce the cost of being able to execute these exams, and so as we progress in the years, it will be costing the country a bit less to be able to do this. Another good announcement that I think many stakeholders are going to be happy to hear is that in recent meetings held with the education stakeholders in the ministry in addressing some of the challenges that had been brought forward by the teachers and management of public schools, specifically, that one of the topics was the date of the exit exams. And it had been concluded, and we, through many discussions, both with those stakeholders as well as the coordinator of the exit exams, the exam department or division, that we would move the dates back to May as it used to be in the past. The dates had been moved up to before Carnival. In the past, due to apparent, there was complaints at the time that children get caught up in Carnival, and then the exams start right after Carnival, and this proved to be a problem. However, moving it up earlier has not resolved or brought about any positive changes. As a matter of fact, the extra time pressure that it puts on all stakeholders, the schools, the teachers, even the exam committees, to be able to have everything prepared so early, has not proven to have assisted the students, particularly to whom, the goal was originally intended. So weighing all those things, I have decided that we will move the exams, the FB exit exams as of next year, 2017, back to May, and all stakeholders in this process will be duly informed by the Division of Exams. All schools, as a part of promoting literacy under the Education on the Move campaign, which started last Friday, which I must say thank you to all those schools who took part in reading. Thank you to all those citizens within the community who took the time out, especially if they are not naturally readers or don't have to read for their professions, to take the time to read. We've also, as the ministry, promoted and asked parents to live up to their responsibilities in reading to the children as education begins from the womb. And we aim that as a society to have education end only when we enter the grave, so that we continue to be learners and through reading continue to gain knowledge, experience, and the like. So with the positive start of this Education on the Move campaign, we've seen a renewed interest, many positive comments coming from the community as well as from schools. Promoting literacy is our first big project, but of course we move into parental involvement, and that also will be part of our Promoting Literacy campaign. The recruitment of teachers, highlighting the need for men in education, and promoting of best practices from the various schools in all of the schools. One such best practice, I must say, I was very proud to open on Monday, the Orania School Book Week, which has a week of events geared towards literacy. This is a wonderful initiative that has been going on at that school for 29 years. In the past, even when I myself was a child, the library hosted Book Week, and I believe they still do, but it is not necessarily something that happens in every school. And I believe that it is something that helps to focus on literacy, not just reading, but also writing. And so it is also going to be part of our literacy campaign to make sure that each school promotes a literacy program within their schools. And I would encourage parents especially to get involved in this initiative.